Hi everyone, it's Vicky. So I'm trying something new today. I'm doing a voiceover. My friend Gail told me she did a voiceover and I really wanted to try it. I've been meaning to try it and she was just what I needed to get me going. So I am catching up with yesterday's journaling. I've done my journaling for yesterday, but I only printed out my pictures today. I printed them down to a page and I'm just cutting them all apart. And here you can see I've cut them all apart and now I'm just finding which ones I want to add to my Tim Holtz ladder, and that's been attached to the page. On the opposite page you can see I've got some flowers. They were from a catalogue from one of the grocery stores, and above that there's a clear sticker that says hooray, it's today. We were celebrating a birthday yesterday. This page I'm gluing on one of the flower pictures that I really liked. We took this picture yesterday and I didn't want it to get lost in that Tim Holtz ladder. I've glued on the numbers 1 and 5 that are die cuts, and I've sped through my writing now so you don't have to watch me write slowly. On the opposite page there's a little brown piece of paper and that says barbecue grill trays, and we had a barbecue today and we used these grill trays and I just wanted to remember that we had used them. On the back of that page, I'm going to be writing out my scripture for today. It's Psalm 27 verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? So that was my scripture for the 15th. And I've really enjoyed this journal so far. It's going really well. And I'm loving all the pictures that I'm able to add. I'm loving that I can use all these photos from our walks in this journal. So the last time I showed you my journal, I had done part of this page and I hadn't done my journaling. So that's the journaling from the 2nd of May. As you can see, it's been about 2 weeks. And I don't know what's happened to the days. They just disappeared into one another and they've been really full. We've been doing a lot of things and I just lose track of time. So that's 2 weeks ago almost, and so that was those hearts that I did on the rainbow retreat. So I'd seen this picture, it's a sunflower, it was on a magazine page. I just cut really carefully around the edges. I wanted to keep some of those splatters, and then I did my own splatters on the background of that page and of that page, and we recovered a couch. So that's why I put a picture of a couch there. This one here, I've used a stencil that I made. I cut out my own heart stencil. I've used some paper that was laminated. So what I've done is I've put the hearts down and I've gone over with ink. And you can see I've got hearts. And I've tried to do pink on that side and yellow there, just to see what it'll look like, just to try some new techniques. That's a little die cut that I've just put the date on, and there's some lace on the end of that page. This word hope is stamped onto some tracing paper, and I've got some little die cut pink hearts that I was hoping would sort of coordinate with that. And this page here, this was an Artie Mays printable, and I've written on the back of there, what did I write? Oh, some things I'm happy about. And so that's an Artie Mays printable and a little paper clip that's shaped like a bird. I love these. I think I got them at Poundland and Pound World. I can't remember what it's called. And you get like 8 for £1 when I got them. So I've got a few more left. And let's see. This page, it was a funny little page because it's half of a, let's see, it's not even half. It's like 2/3 of a 6-inch scrapbooking page. Where's it gone? See if I can find it. So there's the other half of that page. That page was really nice. I could do something with it. But when I got to here, it felt like I couldn't really do much with that. So I did a little bit of a scripture there and a little bit of journaling there. That day, it felt very uneventful. So all I've got is what we had for dinner and my scripture for the day. I've made a little stamp, like a postage stamp. So I've got a punch that punches out little stamp shapes. So I punched out a stamp shape out of some card, and I've put a sticker on top that had a clear background, and I've used my date stamp, and I've date stamped -7 so that you can see that that would have been the 7th, and that was just a small addition to that page. This here is a wrapper from some Easter eggs. So we got these lovely Easter eggs. They're little, they're about that big, and they're wrapped like sweets. And so we've been saving the little wrappers as we've been eating them, and I've been cutting them into flower shapes. It probably could do with a little bit more something to make it look like a flower, but I just wanted to pop something in. I wanted some texture that would crinkle when it got touched. So that's why that's there. And this is a picture from a magazine, and I really like the way that they've got these daffodils growing and they're in like a hard place. You see there's like some rocky grassy stuff here, there's a rock wall in the background, there's some barbed wire, and these lovely little daffodils are coming up in the midst of that very hard place. And so I wanted to use this phrase here, bloom where God plants you. I love that saying. I've got some cushions in my house with that, and I've also got a stamp. So I've stamped it onto a post-it notepad, and then I've just cut out the page that the piece that I wanted, and I wanted the yellow because it matched there. So this page here, I've done some layering. I've got a bit of a glassine bag up here. I've got some patterned paper, and this I've just cut with the die cut. This little envelope tuck spot I've glued here and here, so it's open at the back, and it's made with a serviette that I've ironed onto paper, and I've got a feeling I've ironed it onto freezer paper, but I did make it a long time ago, so I'm not quite sure how I made it. And that is a little journaling card with some writing on the back. I've stamped the little watering can onto the back of this paper, and I've glued it out, and it's about my little rusty yellow watering can that I've got, and so I wanted it to be yellow. That goes in there. And then there's my other journaling card for that day, and so that's from Artie Mays. This is from Graphics Fairy, and I've glued some paper on the back of this card, and I've journaled on the back. This little page here was a bit harder to use because it's so small, so I did a bit of writing here, a bit of writing here, and this is the label from some syrup that you add to coffee, and it's the same syrup I think that they add to Starbucks coffees, so we've been enjoying our fake Starbucks at home. So this day I wanted to use the lyrics from the song Waymaker, and that's by Sinach, and I'll put the link below. And I got this picture from one of our walks. It's of a gate, and it's in a forested area, and it's a very strange little gate. The doors don't open or anything, you kind of go in and out, and I took a picture of that. I just thought it was lovely, and so I thought Waymaker went really well with that. And it was a Monday, and I got some stickers that were quite fun, so I've put the Hello Monday, let's do the sticker here. And then my scripture for the day was this one here, and I've put it on the back of a tag. Let's see what the tag was for. I think it was for yarn or fabric or something, and so I've put that there, and I've tucked it into there with a bit of lace, so that makes a really nice page with my scripture hidden in there and all my writing. Oh, and I got 100 subscribers that day, so thank you so much everyone. And this day I did a lot of sewing. I sewed 36 face masks, and I was very tired. It took probably about 9 hours at the end of the day. I wrote there over 8 hours, but it was closer to 9 hours, and I sewed all day. I did sit in my conservatory in the sunshine, so that was really nice, and that was the result at the end of the day. I tried to display it like a little fan. The scripture that I printed out and I used for this day, I printed it on my printer. I used a font that looks a bit like a typewriter, and then because my paper ends up being a bit white, you see there it's quite white against the sewing pattern paper, I took my ink and I inked the front and I inked the back so that it isn't so bright when you turn over the page. You hardly even notice that I've got something stuck on the back of the page. So that's what I did there, and then I cut it into strips because I couldn't fit, that was a bit too long for the page. So I just cut it into strips and I glued the strips in individually. It did pucker a bit when it was first glued down, but then when it dried it was fine. And these little houses in the background, you can't see those very well. You can see those little houses. I used the stencil that I made. I made the stencil when I was doing the rainbow retreat, and you can see I couldn't get the acrylic paint off my stencil, but what I did is I just put it down on the page and I went over with my ink, and so I got little houses. And the reason I wanted to get the houses on was because on this day we ended up delivering 30 face masks. We walked to the one house and we put it in the post box. We dropped the other ones off at the post office, and so it was very significant for me because it felt like it went to all the different little houses. I used stickers that have got postmarks on them. They actually were white. They had a white background, but again I just took my ink, I inked over the stickers, and so I think they've blended into the background quite well. And I've used the numbers 1 and 3 to make a 13 on that page, and a L'Occitane tag. I've just cut off the bottom bit and I've written my scripture on there. And here we are at the beginning. So where this video started was on the 14th, and I will have described all of this to you already at the beginning of this video. I probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more days I can add into this. So this is a 1 month journal, because I started on the 20th and today is the 15th. So this is like a 1 month journal. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm ready to start on a new one and fill up something else. And I think I'll tie this up with a ribbon just to keep it nice and neat. And I'm looking forward to starting a new one. So thank you for watching and enjoy your day. Bye.